Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please welcome National Director and Mr. Team Vision, Danny Piper.
Has this been a great day or what? It's been fantastic. You guys have done such an amazing job. You know, I want to start off by thanking my wife. Because a lot of work. She's so good. But I learned something. I learned that God's more concerned with your potential for the future than your failures in the past. But it always starts with a paradigm shift. You heard Ken Haney talk today about a paradigm shift. When things don't go exactly the way that you thought they were going to go, and something happens, it changes everything. The picture, the outlook, what you see coming, it changes. Everything changes. And what do you do next? It's that paradigm shift. Stephen Covey wrote a great book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in that book, he gives this great illustration of a paradigm shift. He said he was sitting on a subway in a large metropolitan area. And as he sat down, he began to read the paper, and the subway comes to a stop, and this gentleman gets on the subway. He sits down directly next to Stephen Covey. He had 5 children with him. The subway takes off, and this gentleman's children start running back and forth on the subway. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're spinning around the poles, they're jumping up and down the chairs. And as Stephen Covey stood there, he said, I can't believe this father would sit there and act like nothing's happening. After a few moments pass by, he finally looks to the gentleman. He says, excuse me, sir, would you mind doing something with your children? They're being disruptive. The gentleman sat there motionless with his head buried in his hands. He pulled his head up from his face, and he looked at the gentleman. He says, I'm sorry. I suppose I probably should. But we just left the hospital about an hour ago, and their mother died. And I guess I don't know how to handle it. That's a paradigm shift. For once in your life, you see something from a different perspective. You look at something from a different vision, a different set of eyes. It's a momentary moment in time when you can see something change in your life, a different perspective, a different view. It's that day that turns your life around. Jim Rohn did a great speech. He calls it the day that turns your life around. Powerful woman. Big income, he says. And he looks at her and he says, what's your story? How did you get here? She says, do you want the short version or the long version? He said, well, due to time, what's the short version? She said, I asked my husband one day for $10. And he said, what for? Paradigm shift. Just in a moment, things change. It takes a moment. And you've all had them. Every single one of us, we've had them. The genius behind the paradigm shift is it enhances the vision that you have. It's a bigger picture. The more depth, the more vision. And I challenge people all over the country. I say, listen, as I talk to you, do you have the vision? Do you see what we're talking about? I'm not in love with electricity or natural gas. I'm not in love with home automation or commercial telecom. I'm in love with the vehicle that can take me to where I need to go from a financial perspective. That's what I'm in love with. And it's not the money. Money doesn't amount a hill of beans to me. Money's not my source. Money's just a resource to tap into to take me where I need to go. I have this vision, and I close my eyes at night, and I just sit there and I look at it and I think about it all the time. And I say, how can I find the words? What are the words that can reach out to people and touch them? The pain today that people are feeling, it's overwhelming. It's this unbearable burden and pressure that people live with on a daily basis. And how do we relieve that pressure? You see so many talented people, and you try to share with them what could change their life, what could change everything for them, and they don't see it. I learned a long time ago that my passion was to share my life with the people that believe what I believe, not the people that don't. My mentor told me one time, he said, as you go forward, how many people should you have in a meeting before you go? You're going out of town, 20, 25 people? Is that what I need? I'm driving 8, 10 hours away. He says, how much money do you want to make? He says, you want to make an extra $200,000 or $300,000 a year? Make sure there's 20, 25 people. You want to make $1 million a month like he did? One's plenty. Vision. It's having that dream inside of you, something that stirs you up inside. What does it take to stir somebody up? There's so many dead ends. I mean, you travel. There's so many times I come home at night, and the only light in the entire neighborhood is in my house. It's frustrating at times, aggravating. How do you get through it? But you push on. You always push on because the dream's got to be bigger than the pain. When the pain is bigger than the dream, you lost. You've thrown in the towel. So, I heard this story one time from a guy that I really admired. He said this. He said, if you get in your vehicle today, you drive from Columbus, Ohio to Orlando, Florida, it will take you exactly 16 hours and 37 minutes. And 98.6% of the time, you will be going the wrong direction. You will be going south to southwest to southeast. There's a point in the journey where you will actually be headed north. But lo and behold, you will arrive at your destination. That is the best illustration I've ever heard of this business. It is the best. Sometimes you'll go and there'll be a dead end. Sometimes you'll reach somebody that will propel your business like you never dreamed possible. Don't you dare quit when you sign up a dead end. You got to push forward. You got to push on. You got to move. You can't stop. It is this immersion. Malcolm Gladwell referred to it as 10,000 hours of immersion is what it takes to be an expert in any field. But our industry is different. It is completely different here because you leverage your time. Does that make sense? You've got to be able to leverage your time. You've got to be able to share the message with people. You've got to be able to reach out and establish something with people that's different. It's not the normal traffic of conversation that we hear every day. The normal traffic of conversation doesn't work because everybody's competing for that. You've got to figure out a way to speak different. Imagine yourself doing a weekly meeting. If you looked at yourself from a third-person perspective and you watched yourself, do you say, wow, I'm just going through the motions again? Or do you say, look at me go? Look at me talking. They may say yes or they may say no, but look at the passion that I'm exuding. Is that what they say about you? Why would somebody follow you? I'll promise you one thing. The talents, the gifts, the ability that you have is more than enough to make it in this business. It's more than enough. Vision. How big's the power of your dream? What does it look like? I want to ask you guys to close your eyes for a second. Ken stole my thunder a little bit ago. Close your eyes for a second. I want to take you somewhere. I want you to visualize that dream. Go there. What does it look like? What does it look like specifically? The day, the time, the month, the year, the location. Who's with you? It's the day you fire your boss. It's the day you write a check for your college education for your daughter. It's the day you retire. It's the day that you give to your church. It's the day you change people's lives. That picture needs to get clear You need to visit it daily. That picture can propel you to where you want to go. The people who spend the most time with that picture you're looking at are the people that change their lives. You see, the laws of reaping and sowing are so strong, it makes no difference. The kingdom that we operate in, it's a different kingdom. It's a kingdom of laws. People can look at this. If you can see it, if you can go there every day, I can't tell you how it's going to take place. I can just tell you that it does take place. It's by your faith that God grants you the desires of your heart. When you look at the word desire, D is of the sire is father. And the Bible says he'll grant you the desires of your heart. What's the probability of that coming to fruition? Every once in a while, a group of people get together, uncommon people. They look normal, they sound normal, but they bond together in a unique way that's different. They work with one another in a way that's different. It's frustrating for you. But you should know frustration on a first-name basis by now. It will be around often. It's the dream that changes it all. Do you realize over the next 90 days, we can change it all? In the next 90 days, that vision that you paint in your mind, we could be headed that way. This is what it takes. It takes collectively a group of people to see a bigger vision. It takes collectively a group of people with a common cause to get there. I challenge people. I challenge you right now. What does it take to get you there? How do we unite as a team together today? And I don't care whose downline you're in. How do we unite today to change all that? How do we propel this company in a way that most people never dreamt possible? How do we turn CCM into a household name? We do it one person at a time. One person at a time. My challenge to you today is going forward, we can change everything. All we need is the commitment. The commitment to do more, to be more, to have more. The commitment for the next 90 days. I can share with you a mathematical equation that will take you there. If you can sign up simply 10 people that sign up 10 people, you got 100 people. Do you realize if you have 1,000 people at an event, what the income means? You realize it's possible? People let the frustrations get the best of them. The psychological battle will always rage. But it's people like you and me that change everything. I don't want to be in a company. I want a community of people that are willing to pay a price to change other people's lives. It's not about the money. It's about you and me. You need me, and I need you. And collectively together, going forward, we can set a course for destiny. 10 people that sign up, 10 people is 100 people. We simply do it one more time. That's 1,000 people. If we worked our tails off, we could have it done in 6 months. Are you willing to pay that price? Will you pay that price? Because that's what it takes to win. We're going to leave here in just a few minutes. And you're going to go right back to your normal life. My prayer is that you guys would leave out of here changed from a different perspective. You'd see it. How do you get people to see it? I want you to know that you can win here. You can win here in a way that you never dreamt possible, right here, right now, in just moments. You know, we specifically put tables in the room today, and the reason we wanted tables in the room was we wanted you to talk to one another. We wanted you to communicate with each other. There's so many people. We got different backgrounds, different parents, different ethnic groups, different religions, different faith. You name it, it's all different, but yet we're all the same. Are you ready? Because this is where we're at. Are you ready? That's my message. 90 days. 90 days from now. 90 days is everything. 90 days changes everything. Over the next 90 days, you're going to see lives completely changed. I'm seeing it. A lot of people have already pushed 90 days, and they're coming out of that 90 days right now. John talked about launching your business. Don't meander in a world of mediocrity or ponder in a world of popularity. Push forward in a way that changes everything. With that being said, guys, I want to say one last thing as we leave here today. God bless you. Let's go get this done. Thank you.
Danny Piper. Danny Piper.